Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Pruitt, for being here today, but also for accepting the nomination. It is a service and a sacrifice, not just for you, but for your family as well, to step forward to serve this country. So thank you, sir, for
Thank you, Senator.
being willing to do that. For your testimony, I do thank you. And I'd like to, first of all, let you know that Nebraskans, they've been really affected by the EPA in many instances, and I will give you some examples of that. Nebraska's public power utilities are grappling with how they could ever comply with the EPA's carbon emission reduction mandates. The city of Omaha is struggling with the agency's expensive CSO mandate and drinking water affordability. Nebraska farmers are waiting on new crop technology products that are stuck in a broken regulatory process. Our biofuel investors and producers are desperate for certainty under the RFS. Home builders, transportation stakeholders, and local county officials are concerned about the jurisdictional expansion to control our state's water resources. Communities and small business owners fear that the EPA's ozone mandate will stunt potential economic development and growth in our state. As a result of the activist role the EPA has played for the past 8 years, families are concerned about the futures of their livelihood. We all want clean air, and we all want clean water. That is one point that I know each and every person here agrees on. But with the EPA's tremendous impact on Americans' lives each and every day, it is important that the agency be open, transparent, and answerable for its actions. Given these concerns, along with the many others that have been and will continue to be discussed today, what steps will you take as the EPA administrator to provide relief for American families that are faced truly with an onslaught of EPA rules?
Senator, you mentioned open, transparent rulemaking. There are concerns that have been expressed recently with respect to regulation through litigation, where groups initiate litigation against the EPA and the United States government and set environmental policy through something called a sue and settle process. I think this body, as well as the U.S. House, have looked at those kinds of issues. And when we talk about open transparency, there's a reason why the Administrative Procedures Act exists. It is intended to provide notice to those that are going to be impacted with rules, to give them the opportunity to offer comment, and to inform the regulators on the impact of those rules. And then it's the obligation of the regulator to take those things into consideration in finalizing rules. Otherwise, they act in an arbitrary and capricious way. And so it's very important that that process be adhered to give voice to all Americans in balancing the environmental objectives we have, but also the economic harm that results. And the Supreme Court has spoke about that rather consistently of late, and I would seek to lead the EPA in such a way to ensure that openness and transparency.
You know, a couple weeks ago, we had I felt a very good conversation about our shared vision for the EPA to bring common sense and accountability back to that agency. And I think that's going to go a long way in restoring confidence in the agency by the American people. One issue we did discuss was the renewable fuel standard and its importance to my home state of Nebraska. We are the largest ethanol producer west of the Missouri River. Our neighbors to the east, Senator Ernst's home state, they do lead the nation in ethanol production. So honoring the congressionally mandated timelines and the volume requirements that are critical from an investment point of view and also from a planning perspective, I think that this is especially relevant, and especially during the current farm crisis that we are seeing and the negative impact on people in agriculture all across this nation. In our meeting, you did express your commitment to me to honor the law, and you echoed President-elect Trump's support for the statute itself and a strong RVO. And for the record, can you please once again express your commitment to uphold the congressional intent of the RFS.
Yes, Senator, and you said it well, to honor the intent and the expression of the Renewable Fuel Standards statute is very, very important. It's not the job of the administrator of the EPA to do anything other than administer the program according to the intent of Congress, and I commit to you to do so.
And you
the
also
waiver, and I would say this, the waivers that routinely are offered by the administrator, recently another waiver was offered, it should be used judiciously. There's a reason why Congress put in that statute those statutory objectives. The market has changed since 2005, and the waiver authority that's been provided by this body is important, but that waiver authority should be used judiciously, and the act should be complied with and enforced consistent with the will of Congress.
Thank you, sir, and I would ask that you also tell us publicly what you told us, that you will honor the timelines on the volume levels that are mandated by Congress as well.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Fischer. Senator Merkley.